Yeah, let me tell you, I want to, Randy, be careful as you do it this time because the wind has really picked up. We are now right about at high tide. We're about 5 minutes away from high tide here in Naples. We also have winds reported, gusts up to about 112 miles an hour, so it's gotten a bit more serious. But the underlying issue is still the same, and that is that there's no delineation anymore between the Gulf of Mexico and Naples. This was a motorway, a parking lot. Earlier, I showed this to you. There were cars on the left and cars on the right. Now there's just cars pushed back and on the middle. As that surge pushes in, as Randy's showing you, the cars are being pushed further and further into the street, and we're seeing much more debris now. We're seeing much more happening. We're now at probably 5 feet, I would estimate, of surge. We were looking at 4 to 6. Take a look at that white car over there, Randy, on the left, now almost entirely submerged. There were several cars around it. We're now looking at possibly 8 feet of surge here in Naples, and we're not at the worst of it yet. So there have been warnings about shelter in place. Do not attempt to move. Bill Cairns always reminds us your car can start to float away in 6 inches of water. We're now in about 5 feet of water. But what you're seeing here is the actual surge that you and I talk about so much when we cover these hurricanes. This is actually the Gulf of Mexico surging water into Naples and the surrounding areas. Lester?
Yes.
FEMA Administrator Chris Wells said today that she acknowledged concerns that Florida, as was said, lacks response to the storm so far, and that
Whoa. Give me a break. That is nonsense. Stop politicizing, okay? Stop it. We declared a state of emergency when this thing wasn't even formed. We've had people in here. You've had counties doing. They've done a lot of hard work. And honestly, you're trying to attack me, I get, but like you're attacking these other people who've worked very hard. And so that's just totally false. I don't think we've ever, certainly since I've been governor, declared a state of emergency this early. We made sure that we were very inclusive with it. We said that there was a lot of uncertainty, and we've worked to make sure the preparations that have been done and all the stuff, you talk to the people at the counties when they've needed something, stuff gets there very quickly because of what Kevin and his team have done.
Can we also get you to talk about the historical significance of this storm surge? I mean, we have had...
The leaks are under investigation. Their initial reports indicating that this may be the result of an attack or some kind of sabotage, but these are initial reports and we haven't confirmed that yet. But if it is confirmed, that's clearly in no one's interest.
To the war in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin on the verge of violating international law by declaring parts of Ukraine to be Russian territory as increasing numbers of Russian men head for the border to avoid the military draft. Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, George. Well, it wouldn't be the first illegal annexation of Ukraine by Russia, but it certainly would be the largest and most serious and likely to provoke a response from the US and allies. Meanwhile, the first Russians mobilized by Putin just days ago are apparently already fighting on the front lines. But it seems that most of those called up to serve are instead trying to get out of the country.
This morning, a mass exodus from Russia as Vladimir Putin drafts hundreds of thousands of men to help his struggling campaign in Ukraine. 66,000 Russian citizens have entered the European Union over the past week, nearly 100,000 entering Kazakhstan, and 100,000 more into Georgia. The crush to leave so great in parts that it can be seen by satellite. ABC's Britt Clennett is on the ground in Georgia.
All these people behind me have had a days-long journey from Russia. They were checked at the border to make sure they weren't on the draft list. But these guys, they're relieved, they're exhausted, but they say they don't have any plans. They just needed to get out.
Dmitry spent 7 days trying to escape, breathless from 2 days on foot crossing into Georgia.
I don't want to kill people and I don't want to be killed. I don't need this war. And I don't support Putin.
And as discontent in Russia grows, on the ground here in Ukraine, fears Russia may escalate as it concludes sham referendums in 4 occupied territories. Putin expected to formally annex them in the coming days. Unsurprisingly, the Kremlin now claiming over 96% of those who voted favour becoming part of Russia. But Ukrainian officials saying the elections were rigged, with some forced to vote at gunpoint. President Zelensky saying this farce in the occupied territories can't even be called an imitation of a referendum. Meanwhile, growing questions this morning around 2 damaged gas pipelines running from Russia to Germany. A Swedish Coast Guard video showing bubbles from a reported major leak under the Baltic Sea. Danish seismic stations recording explosions nearby.
Guys, well, we have some breaking news. Apparently, the U.S. Embassy in Moscow just issuing an alert telling all U.S. citizens to leave Russia immediately, warning that the Russians may refuse to allow those with dual citizenship, basically U.S. and Russian, to leave the country, preventing their departure, even conscript them into military service. The situation with this vote and the war looks set to take another dangerous turn. Amy?
It certainly does. Ian Pannell, thank you. As we mentioned, and Steve's hit there, as we look for Steve to get to safety, Hurricane Ian has now officially made landfall in Florida, just off Cayo Costa. It's kind of a barrier island that is due west of Fort Myers there. As it comes ashore now, the eye of the hurricane passing over the coast of Florida. As we take this live shot, that live look at Naples, you can see the rest of the track here. This storm is aiming right for central Florida now. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, will then hit the southeast part of the United States. You can see the track, and there it is. Cape Coral right in the eye as we speak at this point. Significant storm. Again, a Category 4, but just a couple miles per hour wind gusts, sustained wind, rather, shy of a Category 5. I want to bring in now Todd Dunn, Public Information Officer for Charlotte County, Florida, which is not far from where Ian has made landfall. Tell me what you're seeing now. Todd, what your biggest concerns are.
Right now, our biggest concerns are the wind. We're starting to get reports of damage from the wind and the surge that is predicted to come in after this. You guys were showing what our friends and neighbors to the south are seeing, and that's expected to come to our area. We're looking at preparing for 8 to 14 feet of storm surge. And so right now in the Emergency Operations Center, our planning is geared to, okay, what's the next step? As soon as it's safe for our first responders to get back out there, our public works department to get back out there, they're going to hit the streets and start clearing the debris and start doing a damage assessment and get into those folks who have been calling in, and we've had to basically just kind of prioritize the list and with the plan of getting to them as soon as it's safe to get to.